Well, welcome to another episode of Let the Truth Be Told. My name is Sean Williams, and I thank the Lord for being in the studio once again with my good friend Jason behind the wheels of steel, man. I thank you very much. Big shouts out to everybody that tune into us every Sunday night. I would like to say good evening to you, and thanks for always continue to support us on Let the Truth Be Told. Today I got my good friend Wisdom in the studio with me today. We're going to talk about a lot of different issues, cover a lot of ground on today, so stick with us and as we cover some of these important topics that's going to be going on throughout our community and across this nation. And so just want to do some house cleaning. Happy Memorial Day to you. Happy Memorial Day to all of the folks that's going to be tuning into this for Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day. Love on your loved ones. Give them their flowers while they're living. Wisdom, I was able to go down to, I did a service for a young lady just actually down the hall, and I did a funeral up in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And we did a service. I had to go up there, and me and my staff, we put everything on the road. She wanted to do it big for her mom, right. And was able to stop on 167th at a store called Lee Club, and was able to get another outfit for the lady's mom. But I was able to go up in there, and I seen all these church outfits. And I said, I can't go in here and get this lady nothing, not get my mama nothing. I had to grab my mama something. I had to grab my dress, hat. I wanted to load up and get everything that lady had at that place, And so big shouts out to Legina and Coroner and her brother, Derek, for allowing me to memorialize their mom. We just had a great homegoing celebration for a great lady. And so that's what you do for Memorial Day. I will be out on Monday, I will be out at Lincoln Cemetery, and my role of many hats is Commander of American Legion Post 559. Mm-hmm. And so I'll be giving a Memorial Day speech out there on behalf of the post and the veterans that's over there with our color guard that does an excellent job. So we got multiple things that we're going to be doing on that particular morning, but we're going to be wrapping up. We'll be out there at 11:45. So all you guys that want to come out to Lincoln Cemetery and be a part of that service, that'll be at 11:45 on Monday. And so we'll be out there. We got a team of folks that's going to be helping us put flowers on graves and doing a whole bunch of different stuff to memorialize loved ones that's in our community. And so I thank the Lord for you. But let's get in here and let's get some dialogue. Let the people know who you are and where you're from and all of those different things about Champaign and your connection. And then we go get into some dialogue.
I can do that. First off, I'd like to thank you for having me here. I appreciate the opportunity to address the Champaign County residents. My name is Micheal True Wisdom Terry. My government name, as Sean calls it, is Micheal Terry. I was born here. And like so many of us, I fell into traps. Mm-hmm. And by the grace of God, man, I was able to recognize that I was moving in a self-destructive direction and pull myself up out of it and move in a better direction. Now, I have a laundry list of things that I could share. So I'm very sure of the fact that the time is limited. But if I could share anything, I would think that the focus that we need to be focusing our energy on is pretty much communication. For some reason, we as black people, or African Americans, whichever one you wish to identify yourself with, we lack, for the better part, the ability to communicate with each other. Mm-hmm. For some reason, we seem to think that the best thing to do is go from 0 to 60. When it pertains to each other. Mm-hmm. But we're real patient with everyone else. We're real understanding with everyone else. We might cuss them out, but we're not gonna shoot them. Mm-hmm. So you have to ask yourself, man, where do these thought patterns come from? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. People in this generation probably have no idea about the harm that slavery did over 600 years and continuing even today in different ways, I must say. And if you really dislike yourself anyone who looks like you is going to be construed as an enemy. But the media construes you as an enemy as well now. I mean, rap songs are only produced by those companies that allows those certain lyrics to come out. I remember Tupac made records, and Snoop Nim and Miss Dolores Tucker came out against them instead of going against the companies that produced these lyrics, that told them, we're not circulating anything but this type. You know, East Coast, West Coast. Carjackings went up by 43% after the East Coast rappers started talking about carjacking, man.
You know, when you said that, lyrics came to mind. We're not against rappers, but we are against them thugs.
You see,
that was one of the little snips they played before one of the rap songs. We're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs. And I guess that was a political person that they used as a snippet before they actually got into the song.
Right.
But so addressing some of these issues that you're talking about, and it's centered around gun violence that's going on in our community.
I would think
The type of gun violence that's going on within our community. But I think that it's a whole lot of what you're saying. It's a whole lot of underlying issues, you know.
Most definitely.
It's a lot of things. So let's say like COVID, right? COVID's not the culprit that ultimately kills a person, right? It's the higher risk for the people that have underlying conditions.
Conditions, exactly.
So
they are the high risk factors.
That have not addressed the underlying conditions, right?
Exactly.
So we're not healing the underlying conditions, so ultimately COVID knocks you out.
AKA you putting a Band-Aid on a wound.
And so,
exactly.
so when we're trying to address, because addressing the elephant in the room is that we had a officer-involved shooting that happened just a week ago yesterday, where an officer got killed and young man got killed. Next day, we have another shooting that happens in the community, black on black, within the black neighborhood. We've had, I think, I read something where we're up to about 80-something shootings, almost 90 shootings already in Champaign County.
And you just walking into the second half of the year.
Champaign County already. I think 2016 was our highest number of shootings, and I think, let me put a number on it. I want to say it was over 300 and some shootings. It was 316 in 2016. I think it was 316. We broke the record last year, 2020.
I was getting ready to say you're escalating. It's continuing to escalate.
We broke the record last year with over 400 and some shootings last year. And if I'm familiar, I sit in so many of these meetings, listen to the chiefs give these reports, and so, but it's increasing. Gun violence is on the rise across the nation.
I was just getting ready to say that.
As we extend, and now we're able to go maskless now, and everybody's trying to get back normal, even though we probably never see things normal the way we used to see things, because so many things have evolved out of us this pandemic. But shootings across the country.
Can I ask you something though?
Yes, sir.
Because I have my own ideas concerning this, but what do you attribute the escalation of these mass shootings from? See, the mass shootings across this country has escalated exponentially. I mean, probably 113% or something like that, I believe. So what do you believe the rationale is?
Well, you know, first I'll start here, because I'm grounded. I'm grounded within God, right? So I'll start there. There's not enough love out here, period. There's not enough godly love for one toward another, period. Where that even if I got a gun, I'm going to evaluate you to see if you're really trying to bring me or anybody else around me any bodily harm before I can even pick up a gun or even have that thought process that I need to take you out forever. Nobody's processing that. And so that's what I would say. I would say it's a spirit that you adapt through all of the trauma and all of the things that have went wrong in your life. You know, you started this out and said, man, you know, I fell off and back and I had to get myself together. You started out saying that. But you didn't take it out on somebody and just wipe a whole lot of people out because you was mad as hell. You didn't just do that. You started working on you. How do I repair myself? But I think people get to the point where they just explode. And guns are so readily available to us. Ammunition is so readily available to us. Alcohol and drugs are so readily available to us to amplify the mental illness that's already going on. So now it's easy for us when we go on top of compound traumas to go back to the job that just fired me, and I've been a dedicated worker for years. And because you're now looking at your budget, or you're looking at income, or you're looking at productivity opposed to my dedication and my service, you tell me I no longer have a job after 30 years. Mm-hmm. And I can't deal with that mentally, on top of a divorce, on top of other things that's going on. I can't mentally deal with that because my wife was already mad at me because of my dedication to this job.
Okay,
so now that on top of that, I go back and I just wipe everybody out. I don't even address getting help.
How be it that the majority of mass shootings is for people who legally own a weapon? You are legally able to own a weapon and you go and mow people down, right? But yet, a young man who was seduced by a public defender to plead guilty to a felony back in 1976 cannot own a weapon today legally to protect his own home. How frustrating is that? How disenfranchising is that? I mean, even a judge has ruled that the FOID card is unconstitutional. This is the second time this is going to the Illinois Supreme Court. Here comes the exception, though. Unless you've been convicted of a felony or you've been mentally challenged. But my question is how be it? When do you get to the point when you can legally defend your own home?
Well, I think this is the views and opinions of Sean Williams. I think that a lot of us, when we identify that that's an issue, mm-hmm. because somebody have to be the sacrificial lamb.
I agree.
That stand up and say this is not right.
I agree.
Somebody has to get up, and I listen to Joe Mathis all the time on Urban View. He said, "What are you going to do about it? If you've identified this, man, I got convicted in 1976, man. I've been law-abiding, man.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm working good, you know. I just did some stuff, and I just had a conversation mm-hmm. and with one of our local officials mm-hmm. that helped me get a young man his driver's license back. His only problem was driving. He never did anything else. He went to prison 4 times for driving. Mm-hmm. I mean, now he's been working good. And he's missed opportunity after opportunity to advance on the job because he didn't have driver's license.
Exactly.
He called me. And so I reached out to some folks that I knew. And I said, hey, look, this man been in prison 4 or 5 times for driving. He's a grandfather now.
Exactly.
He can't even take his grandchildren to the park without breaking the law. Mm-hmm. Let's get this man another opportunity. Everybody deserves a second chance on that. So back to your question to me. You know, how is it that these folks can go and they can get an AR-15 semi-automatic assault weapon mm-hmm. with high-powered bullets? You know, I mean, tracer bullets and all these other different bullets that I learned when I was in the military.
Right.
That's this long. That you only should be shooting armored vehicles with right. and not a human person. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean. It behooves me, but I already know it's systematic racisms that happen. It's things that happen.
Exactly.
That we're not addressing. And I get on our own community because what are you going to do about it?
I agree.
You know that these things are happening, but we sleep at the wheel.
Man,
on too many different levels that get us to this point.
But the only solution that I think could address that issue is a class action lawsuits by ex-felons who are no longer on probation or parole. If you class action that, the FOID card has already been deemed unconstitutional. The Second Amendment is supposed to be what's construed as an inalienable right. You know what inalienable means? Incapable of being taken from you. So how did you manage to do this for me when you tricked me when I was a youngster and told me, hey, you can go home today? I don't know anything about the law. I just know I want to go home to my young girl before somebody else end up with her. See, tricks are played.
And they know that.
Exactly.
And they know that, and we fall for the trick.
Of course.
You know, and so what, and we fall for it all the time. But I would say this on that particular issue, because I know guys that have had a felony, that have went before, you know, because you can go before the board
And ask to have it sealed.
You can ask to get expungements. You can ask, you know, but you have to. A lot of us don't even want to go down the road to explore and go through that rigorous process.
Well,
because if you hear no, and I know how we get down.
True.
I know how we get down. You know,
you get angry after the first no.
I've been black my whole life. You know, I know how we get down. You know, you hear no, you hear no, you hear no, you hear no 3 times. I'm never asking that no more because we don't like to be embarrassed. We don't like nobody to feel like we, you know, to make us feel like we don't know.
You know something? You just struck on something that's really, really significant concerning us as black people. We react instead of respond much too often. Turn a small situation into something huge. And then when you get yourself caught up, you are like, man, I should have just walked away from dude, or something to that effect. But if someone teaches you how to respond versus react, once again, I cannot stress this enough. Our main objective should be communicating. You know, not telling people what they want, but speaking to them and listening to try to find out exactly what is it that's splitting you from me. What is convincing you that I do not have your best interest at heart? You know, what leads you to believe this versus a Caucasian? Because you know we have that issue. Some have that issue.
It's I think it goes back, and we'll start going back, because Mother Hattie said, if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going.
Amen.
Okay, and so I would go back to even, because I was listening to some talk radio. I was listening to local talk radio here locally. And it's not a predominantly African American listened to show.
Right.
And so the guy was saying, well, you know, they sold each other into slaves. Talk about us, you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
And that type of mentality, we've adapted that. We're from all the way from Africa. We've adapted that mentality where we attack each other, we'll sell each other off. To think that we're getting some personal gain when in all actuality we need each other to be able to move.
That much is true.
We need each other to be able to move productively.
But wouldn't that be a Romanesque defense, divide and conquer? And the only person that would implement that defense is one who is in control.
Right.
So that they can maintain that control.
Right.
Once again, systemic racism.
Right.
So we have to look at this. And we also have to come to the agreement that it's important for us, like you said, to know where we came from, man. But we have to teach these youngsters. Me and you already know. But I think it's our responsibility to sit down and really talk to them, man, and find out what's your difference, man, with this guy, because he's a vice lord. Or you this, you know. I really do.
So, you know, Wisdom, when we first met, you know, through our barbershop experience,
I know that's
right?
true.
Our barbershop experience, right? That's when I first met you. And so I'm in there cutting, and while the guys had downtime, you and Jesse West and some of the guys in there, y'all in there playing cards.
Exactly.
Okay? And the reason why some of you guys was better than other guys that sat down at that card table is because you knew the rules. You knew the do's and the don'ts. You knew how to hold them and to fold them, is what Kenny Rogers would say. Most of us playing a game that we never even read the rules.
I agree.
How can you win? You didn't write the rules. You ain't looked at no rules. You ain't talked to nobody about no rules. You won't listen to nobody that tell you rules. But you're trying to operate and function and run a family in a rule-ridden society.
But the thing that I keep trying to help you to understand, I think that people should understand that's our age, is that we have to adapt to them. They do not or will not adapt to us. And you know what makes me know that's a fact? I was raised in a 2-parent household, and both of them loved me dearly, and I didn't listen to a damn thing they said. You know why? Because I didn't think they knew anything. They don't know nothing. And the reason that was, though, my brother, is because of the fact that I didn't know nothing. I thought I knew something, and the only thing I knew is how to get my black ass put in jail. So, once again, the seeds that we plant, we must first find fertile soil. And what that means is, man, is you must first understand the people that you're communicating with. You know, you say that there are rules, but this is what I have to say to you. Those rules are designed to keep you down here and me up here. So why should I adhere to them? What I need to learn is this, is to take those rules and manipulate them to my benefit the same way you manipulate them to your benefit.
I would respectably disagree.
Okay.
And I'll say, and because of the fact that the rules set in place. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. Okay, so I just finished the real estate class.
Okay.
Okay, and so our instructor was explaining to us about a program that Bill Clinton had set in place back in the day for minority neighborhoods, minority communities across this nation. And so most of us, you know, we've always been renters. You know, a lot of us know, you know, we're very, you know, hit and miss folks that own their property. You know, I mean, and people that even had that mindset, that forward thinking, right? And even when the program came out, it ain't a lot of us in the black community knew about this program.
I'm getting ready to say that.
Now, what our guy called it, and what the rest of the realtors around here called it, was a ninja program. When I thought of him saying ninja, I thought about the N-word, okay? Because there's not a lot of us in that industry, okay? And so what I thought about, you know, my military mind, he said ninja. No, ninja stood for no income, no assets, no job. No income, no job, and no assets.
Exactly.
Okay? And what I thought about is this. Because you was able to go in there, listen, let me give you a backdrop. You was able to go into the bank and you're able to say, hey, look, I make a certain amount of money. I work for this job with no proof behind that. So that's what it eventually caused the housing bubble in 2008. Because a lot of other people that were going in getting these loans and could not pay the payments, okay? We don't know the information. And the reason why I'm saying that, and I'm telling you that, we don't know the rules. So once we find the rules out, the rules change.
That's true. That's why I say.
But I don't blame things on the other side.
Oh, no.
Because the other side that wrote the rules, how is a lion going to tell a gazelle how to get away?
Let me ask you this, though.
What do lions eat?
But let's just be
Lions
realistic.
eat gazelles, rabbits, and coyotes and
That's
stuff
what I
like
was
that.
just going to
And
say.
if you're going to be a fox,
why would I? Right.
Why would you? So you asking the same people to make it even that wrote the rules.
Exactly, and it's not going to happen.
So now you find out the rules to be able to operate functionally.
I'm going to tell you something that I know for a fact. If those rules that you're referring to are all encased in law. If you learn law, you learn how to manipulate those rules so they can and will work for you. That is the only thing that's required. I am a prime example of that. You must learn how to use law to answer when someone does something to you that you know is wrong. That's what I meant by we must teach our people to respond, not to react. See, to react is to tear your own house up and then go back to the house and talk about it and do not a goddamn thing other than that. You know, that's what the responsibility of us is, man.
But what I would say is this, Wisdom. I think because you know one of the many hats that I have is on the funeral home.
I know that's true.
Okay, so I very, 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 very seldom. I never did a funeral where it was a white on black murder.
Right.
Never done a funeral.
Right.
I had to think back. I've never had one of those funerals.
I hear you.
But I've done a whole lot of black on black murders.
I promise you, you're right.
So I don't think it's law that I know we need to know it. I think it's a multi-mix of things that we need to know.
That's my point.
Okay, it's a lot of things that we need to know.
I promise you, you're right.
But I think the respect level, to respect what we got going on, to respect each other, I think that's just out the window, the disrespect. And I put it in a bunch of different areas, you know, because I just had some educated folks reach out to me yesterday.
Right.
That's prominent, and they're a part of an organization that's a national organization.
Right.
How can we be more involved with gun violence, and how can we make a difference? But y'all been asleep for the last 400 years.
Yeah.
You know, you go back, y'all in every college across the country.
Here's the thing.
And you've been asleep. I get on my ministers, my pastors, I get on, and not the fact that just because I'm a pastor hater or something. I'm not that. It's just I see you as a wizard with a mic, but you're not using it right.
Exactly.
I see you in control of masses of people. That's a parked car. Some of my almost vital people that got information, that went to school, that's educated, but you done mesmerized them so bad that they don't even move.
Unless you say.
And you're not saying.
Exactly.
Because because you might not know. And you don't want them to know that you don't know.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And so I don't blame it on the other side at all. I think the other side is frustrated with our non-movement. I think that's what's going on. I think I worked so hard in this community to build up better relationships with the African American community and our local law enforcement.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the other side? When you say the other side.
The other side, whether it's the Caucasian community, whether it's the Asian community, whether it's the Latino community. I mean, right now we're jumping on Asians. Why are we jumping on Asians? Because Donald Trump said something about the Hung Fu or whatever he said,
yeah, I know
and then we
that.
didn't jumped on the bandwagon. Now we're attacking Asians across the country. So I think all that, when I say other side, non-African American people are looking at us like, man, look, you hear the saying all the time, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Well, what you're saying is that, man, I ain't even got straps on the boots.
All right.
You know, so how can I pull my boots up but I think that we've known for so many generations how our struggles got to be, how hard it is to struggle, how to get to the next level. You know, and so we've done it over and over again when we look at like a Greenwood or, you know, Black Wall Street and things of that nature, how to run a productive community and how to work together. We've done it in our community before.
Can I intercept and ask you a question?
Before integration happened.
Can I ask you a question? You just made reference to Black Wall Street. Can you tell me what happened to it?
Well, it was destroyed.
By who?
And it was destroyed by white folks.
Okay.
I mean I won't say it wasn't. I mean
Right.
it was.
When you are getting the message on a continual basis, all they've done is refined it. When you're getting that message on a continual basis, did I just catch you trying to have something? Let me swipe the feet from up under you. When you're getting that on a continual basis, and then you're getting it in your face by some of these law enforcement officers, you begin to ask yourself, okay, so what is your rationale for attacking me other than the fact that I'm black?
And this happened across the country. I can't say it hasn't. I can't say sometimes, and it happened across this nation, where law enforcement had murdered African Americans. We look at the George Floyd case that just went, the verdict that just came back.
Exactly.
You know, we just went over the 1-year anniversary of that. You know, you look at the other young man that they even lied even in the police report, told his family he died in an accident. He was really stunned 4 times and beat up and all of those other different things.
Exactly.
You look at all of these incidents across the country. But I think that it's a multi-mix that's going on, because as the law enforcement tell us as a community to see something, say something, when they see something going wrong, when they force it's going to make them look bad in a bad way, see something, say something.
I agree.
Get the bad apples out of there.
But
if we're going to be a functional community that integrates together.
I agree with you.
Okay, same story that the Palestinians and the Israelis are going through right now. If we're going to live in a productive, environment, and we're going to function in a productive environment, we got to learn how to live in this space together.
I agree. There's no other option.
There's no other option.
All right.
Okay, and so I don't think that we need to go back to it's me against them or them against me. I just say work on us.
I agree, 100%.
I say work on us. I think our goals, our priorities are so mixed up. We don't know if we coming or going. We don't know if the things should be good is bad and bad is good, because we vicariously live through everybody else. We didn't put athletes and entertainers as the role models of who we should be.
But you understand why that is, though, right?
I understand how it is to a certain degree.
Well,
but I believe in this. Charity starts at home, right? And I understand there's a lot of folks that are not in their kids' lives because of a bunch of different reasons, systematic stuff that's happening. Because I done had grandfathers come down to my barbershop in tears, trying to raise an unruly grandson. And DCFS, and he threatened to call DCFS, law enforcement was called, and they even reinforced with DCFS. But you ought to be able to go into a situation and see where it's a caring grandfather that's saying, look, man, you're not gonna come here all times of the night. And if you do, I might put some on you. We just watched a teacher paddle a Latino kid in front of the mother in Florida. Paddle.
Mother must have been undocumented.
And she was undocumented, and that was the reason why she held back.
Had to be.
So I think Donald Trump set us back many, many, many years, because it empowered people that have racist, deep inside.
I'm very much aware
and
of that.
connect that, and he's connecting the dots, and he's taking us back. And I think some of us are even falling for that, because we are not addressing the voter rights and voter suppression that's going on. Because you talked about laws. The only way that we can address those things, because most of us working.
That's true.
Most of us work. We trying to put food on the table, clothes on some backs.
Right.
It's COVID. We've been out of work. Now a lot of us ain't even going to work, because now it's so much money out here we don't need to go to work. So you see hiring signs everywhere. But I think we should take it. I've been sounding this alarm since COVID, because COVID done changed the game. We should have been preparing, so when COVID opens up, we are much better people.
Exactly.
We got more knowledge. We got more information. Rules the nation is one of my statements always.
That sounds really good. But once again, we have those who are what I call in what's I can only describe as the nowhere zone. And that's somewhere in the neighborhood between 9 and maybe 19. And the reason I call it the nowhere zone is because at 9, you're really beginning to become aware of other little females and so on and so forth. Right? You don't know how to deal with the situation yet, but you know that that's what you like. Now, if you don't have a parent there who you are comfortable enough with, or even a granddad, uncle, it doesn't matter, just a male figure who has some illumination in his mind, other than try to stick it in everything you see. If he has and gives some type of direction to that young man, I think that would probably open up the floodgates to him being more comfortable with speaking. much too often we like to tell people what not to do. You know, we're doing it ourselves. I remember when I was about 5, 6 years old, my dad caught me smoking cigarettes. You know, he didn't whoop me or nothing. He just took them, right? And then he called me in the house. And he's sitting there smoking his cigarette, telling me I can't smoke. Right? You shouldn't be smoking.
You smoking.
Right, exactly. So it's
But
incumbent,
we grew up in a black household, you know, and I think folks that have not been around black folks that didn't grow up in a black household probably don't understand.
Right.
You know, but we all grew up on do as I say and not as I do.
I promise you, you're right.
That same language and that same word went through whether if you stayed on Lincoln Street or you stayed in Garden Hills.
I agree.
Because what was taught throughout the black household.
But you know.
But let me tell you the dynamics of how important it is for a father to be in a kid's life. For a father to be in a kid's life. So I was down at the office down there yesterday down there with Dwayne and his kids. His daughter Destiny, she just graduated, I think, from one of the schools, I think Centennial. And Little Wayne is down there, and they got an office down there.
Right.
Dad has his office. The kids have their office. They got a business. He's 16 years old. He got a clothing business. He had to go send some inventory out and had to go to the post office. He had to do a inventory list. He had to do a sales order.
Right.
Okay. He's teaching him about business. You ought to see how empowered that young man is to see dad owning a business and son owning a business. You'll never have to worry about them getting caught up too much unless they're around the wrong people with gun violence and stuff like that. Because they see the world in a different space. When you grow up, I didn't pay too much attention when I was in school. But I do remember Mr. Sebastik's human relations class over at Urbana High School. And that was at Urbana High School. I don't think that was junior. It was at Urbana. It was in the high school. I think I was in 9th grade. And what words I read in that book was the first line. It said, "You're a product of your environment."
Which was a big lie.
That stood in my brain my whole life. Well, I never want to be a product of where I...
That's right.
Because you come from poverty, oh no, I ain't want to do that. It's something that governs you. See, we ain't got no governor.
But can you imagine how many people read that and it didn't register?
Went over their head.
It just went right in, and we are a victim to subconscious. It's not what the conscious mind. People do things and be like, why did I do that? You see? Because they are allowing themselves to be governed by the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind misses nothing. So even when you're watching a movie, have you ever watched a movie and you got all kind of like, God, that just, that's what's called subliminal seduction. And what subliminal seduction can do is to have you believing certain things, practicing certain things, without you even recognizing the fact of why you have the urge for that ice cream or cake or whatever else.
And some people call things that happen in the African American community, they call it cultural conditioning.
Man, you are right. When they tell you that, hey, like the rappers be saying, man, we don't talk to the police. Now I hear another song. I don't like ends. I don't like. I don't like nobody.
It's a hot song.
Exactly.
Right, it's a hot song.
But can you imagine the effect that it's having? See, those are the things that. This is the lick. Man, I'm just trying to feed myself. I don't really mean that. But these youngsters don't know that.
I think it's a nuclear bomb that has not been addressed. I've spoken to several city officials. I've talked to several leaders. I've said it in meetings where we probably had even reps, state reps and folks in it. Somebody has to stand up to these record industries. for the message, the poison that they put across these airwaves to all of our kids.
Don't you know that's design?
I understand. I don't care about who designed it.
Okay, I understand. What's the solution to the problem?
This is the solution to the problem. Just like Philip Morris had to be responsible for tobacco.
Right, file a
Just
lawsuit.
like Chrysler, General
I agree
Motors,
with you, man.
Hyundai, and all of those folks had to be responsible for faulty seat belts or airbags.
Once again, the nucleus is the law.
You know, and so I think that they need to be responsible because as the kids will say, you walked away with the bag. So now you done poisoned the people. You done got billions, not even trillions over the years.
Pretty much.
You stay on an island, so you don't have to be where gun-ridden violence is at.
The effects.
I was in Chicago, and I just mentioned in the beginning, I was in Chicago, and I've heard about 26th in California, but I've never seen 26th in California. So, you know, we got all this high-tech equipment now, so, you know, I got my GPS, my WAS app going, and it's taking me to this church, but it took me through the city, okay? And so now I end up on 26th in California, and I tell the guy that's riding with me, hey, James, man, the police department is like a little mini prison in the hood, in the neighborhood. It's in the neighborhood. You know, folks out there walking and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is probably a pretty safe neighborhood. And he said, man, people cut up all over the place in Chicago, you know. Yeah, this ain't no safe neighborhood. So we finally get to the church, get to the hotel that night. The next morning I get up, I look on the news. Young lady shot in a car, 26th in California, right there at the police station. Right there on the block, right at the light, right at the light that I was stopped at. I mean, somebody rolled up on the vehicle and just gunned the vehicle up.
You know that's what's been happening here in Champaign. Do you know that's why there has been such a step up? I mean, you made reference to, I forget the name of the people who were talking about being willing to throw their resources now. The reason that is because it's no longer just in the hood. See, it's been all out in marketplace. Where else do they shop?
I mean, we're an unsafe community.
That's the point. You need to find the common ground with these young people, just like they found common ground between Israel and the Palestinians. You might think it's funny, but it's true. It's humorous, but it's true. It needs to be a situation where somebody can bring these youngsters to the table, man, and we can let them say what they really are looking for in life instead of trying to make them know what they want.
Wisdom, so I didn't have to do it back in the day. When I first got the whip, right? And it's almost bringing emotion because I can have a flashback and I see the adults now, but they were kids then. And I could see the pain out my window, right? And that was back in 99. I got it started in 99, 2000. The city helped me get my business started. And I could see the pain throughout the community. I could see a young lady that was a beautiful young lady that had a lot of dreams that come in my barbershop and say, Sean, I'm going to college, I'm going to do this and this. Next thing you know, she got a baby stroller in the next couple of years. Now she got 2 kids.
Right.
You know, I can see the young man where he don't want to sell drugs, but his daddy's selling drugs, and he got 2 other brothers, and now they falling for it. Just that immediate gratification that dad's showing them.
That's the killer.
Now they on their way to the penitentiary.
Right,
so I can see the pain, right? I can see the pain, and so I want to do something about it. Man, I see guys that love my haircuts, but you can't stay out of jail. So now I need to get you a job. So then I would talk to the brothers that had jobs. Look, man, are they hired at your job? Well, let's start a job board in the barbershop.
Right.
Now connect the dots. Oh, bro, you don't have to keep on going to jail. He got you. You know, but you got to have it's called general concern.
That's true.
You got to have, on both sides, it got to be some care there. I got to care enough. I did a funeral one time, and I strategically did this because we got to be more intentional about what we're doing. You talked about being reactive, but when we do get proactive, we got to be intentional with our moves so that every move counts. You a chess man.
That much is true.
Every move got to be intentional.
Of course.
Because every move that the opposition make is intentional. Okay? And so when I set this funeral up, young man was really, really young and got murdered. He was out at 2, 3 in the morning, gun go off, kills him. Now we got to do a funeral. I went to the candlelight vigil. See, and this is why I say our folks, I'm gonna tell you the whole it's a lot of things that's wrong in this. So we're getting the funeral together, young man, and we're being intentional, we're trying to set it up. And so young man got murdered 2, 3 in the morning. We have the candlelight vigil, it's in a church parking lot. We start seeing, I had some trauma folks that was there that we rallied around as some of the community folks. And I'm watching the younger people coming up to the candlelight vigil. I'm watching some parents drop kids off at a candlelight vigil like it's a after school event. Instead of teaching your kids how to mourn, deal with them while they're grieving. Okay, that was a problem to me.
Right.
Then for me setting up the services for this young man, I made sure that the mayor was there. I made sure that the superintendent of schools was there. I made sure that some other city leaders was there, you know, and I wanted them to be on program because I wanted them to be able to see. But I intentionally wanted to open up the emotions of everybody that's on every side of dealing with young folks.
Right.
To be able to see this lifeless body in this casket, because that's the raw and real. So when you don't want to compromise on my side, or I don't want to compromise on your side, this is the end result.
Exactly.
It's death and destruction.
Exactly.
The Bible say that the devil comes here to kill, steal, and destroy. So whether if you think you right or I think I'm right or I think you wrong and, you know, whatever the case it is, whoever the devil's in there but manipulate, that's the end result. That's when he wins. Because now your loved one there or my loved one there. And it's just a repetitive cycle.
And they didn't have anything to do with it.
And
that's the killer.
So what I wanted them to do, I wanted them to go back to their board meetings. I want to take this message back. Open up your emotional pores. Have general concern when you're making your decisions. Obtain more information. Yeah, you don't have to grow up in my household. Mm-hmm. Put more people on your board that grew up in a household like mine.
I agree.
So that you can have more genuine concern. And then let those folks work in that. And when we're working for that, and we're working in the capacity of African American information to that, give these folks the up and real information that they need to be successful to win in these battles that we're having all across this country. Step up. I'm not attending I said I wasn't attending no more prayers. You know, we need to just go pray, and we praying everywhere.
Right.
I'm not attending I'm not attending, unless you making actionable steps. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, we do a bunch of different stuff in the community. I mean, I still think the most valuable thing going on in our community is the stock market classes that we got going on. Because you can get money all day long, but if you don't know what to do with it, it makes no difference. Joe Biden's saying that.
You're gonna lose it. That's true.
The new administration's saying that.
Right.
They just put $3.1 trillion on the street.
And if you don't know what to do with it, he's right. You're gonna give it right back.
More money than we've seen in the African American history since we've been here on the face of this earth.
But this is a question that I pose: how many people know how to? As you said, once they get the money, know what to do with it. Do you use it to buy you some property? Do you use it to start you a business? I mean, much too often you find them in Peoria, up at the rivers in Chicago, all up in Indianapolis.
You're in Florida. You all on Facebook kicking it.
Exactly.
You know, balling,
Exactly.
Window shopping. You ain't got a window shop no more. You go in there and get the things that you've been designed so that you look like you own something.
Breaking your neck
You know
to
what
get
I'm
it back.
And you cannot blame that on what we talked about, the systematic racism. You have to understand that, man, it's people that paved this way for me to even have the true values and the freedoms that I operate in even right now. And I think so many of us are operating in a way that we don't think that we had a capacity where we can make an individual change right now. I mean, we ain't got to pick no cotton.
I agree.
You know, we ain't got to pick no cotton. You know, I mean, information is so readily available to you, Wisdom. You can go to your smartphone.
I already know that's true. I've directed several people to their smartphone.
You don't even have to go to the University of Illinois to get no information no more. John Lee and them him and Roy used to sneak in the class like they was a student to get the information to bring back to the North End and teach everybody. You don't even got to do that no more. You can look at YouTube videos.
Go into Google.
I looked at something yesterday, Clubhouse.
But I have to
know. But give us your closing comments, because we about to get out. It's funny how time flies when you're having fun. Give us some closing.
I have to say that I'm grateful for being here, but I still have to beg to differ when you say that systemic racism has no effect on the education of our black youth. I think that far too long we've been incapable of developing a real line or bond of communication. I think that more than anything, my wisdom, your knowledge, helping them to understand who they want to be and how to get there would probably share more value than us, once again, telling them, this is how you should do this, this is how you should do that. The only way I can tell you how to do that is if you let me know what you want.
And as we get ready to close, and closing on that statement, so then you say that they need to do with this, and you talk about systematic racism. So now we're going back to the schools. They set the curriculum up.
I know
then when they don't give your person the proper tools, then you tell them right back to them, man, you're systematic. So what you do now is you utilize your spaces that you now own, that we've owned for years, that we go to every Sunday. You utilize those spaces to teach the kids what they need to be taught to be successful in the community. And you won't have to worry about them picking up a gun.
I'm in 100% agreement.
You won't have to worry about them beating up each other just because of anything some rapper done said. I don't like nobody.
Right.
Well, man, I thank the Lord for you guys that tuned into us today for another episode of Let the Truth Be Told, man. Appreciate you, man. You, as I always say I said on my radio program, we all can't do everything. We all can do something. Do your something to make your own personal life better. Do your something to make your community better. And do your something to make an impact in this nation. So I thank the Lord for you, and continue to pray for us, and we'll continue to pray for you. Thank you for watching another episode of Let the Truth Be Told.
Peace, love, and harmony, people.
Out.